Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Good morning.
to Marketing Monday. How are you, Kim?
Good, good. I kind of just taken it in the little easy chair for a little bit. I hit a little setback in my recovery. So, we hate getting sent back to the couch, but sometimes the biggest life lessons are learned from sitting in the couch. That's
Absolutely. In our downtime, often is when we have the best idea or brainstorm or something for a client. Like I find when I step away, sometimes that's when I get more clarity. And even though you're not feeling well, your brain can still process stuff.
right, right. Yep. So, and I'm getting good at eating a lot of protein because that's supposed to really help with healings of incisions. So, I've been drinking more protein shakes than I'll probably ever care to look at when we're out.
Oh my God. Yes. And shakes aren't satisfying to me. I feel like I need to crunch on something. That's
Yeah,
just me.
yeah.
Right?
Well, I found some really good keto chocolate candy bars that have some
Mm.
protein in them. So it's like, well, I'm getting my protein and my sweet. So
Okay. All right. Well, I hope everyone who's going to watch live or on replay had a great weekend. There's the holidays, Passover and Easter coming. So I know that's causing a lot of stress for some people, especially while COVID is still looming, like what's everyone going to do? So I hope everybody can work that out. In the meantime, I thought it was a good time to talk again about who your target market is and how do you reach them, right? Who they are and how do you reach them? This is a topic that I could talk about every single day with every single client or prospective client because it's constantly evolving,
yep, it
right?
is.
And
Yes.
understanding their patterns as things change in the world also is key. So this is not like a one and done exercise. This is something you have to revisit over and over again.
Yes. And to be honest, that kind of surprised me. Like when I first started my business, it was like find your target market. It's like, all right. And then you're done. And it's like, no, anytime I'm talking to anybody, any strategy, any planning, it always comes back to who's your target market and are you still working with the same target market you started with a year ago? Like as that shifted with your business shifting.
Right, because as you learn more things and as you go into different areas, or if somebody hires you from a market that you never even thought of before, suddenly you're like, maybe that's my target market, right? Like if you've always worked with couples and suddenly somebody who's single hires you, if you've always worked with singles or families and suddenly a bachelor hires you, right? So it's like, okay, who is my target market? And this is something that drives people crazy because they're like, well, I can help everyone. And I get that. I so get that. I mean, I'm a business coach. I can help any business. However, when I market and speak to my audience, if I'm speaking directly to interior designers or to coaches and consultants, it really speaks to them in a different way. They actually see themselves in what I'm saying. So that's what I want everyone to focus on when you're trying to find your target market. Who are they and how do you reach them? Often it's like literally putting yourself in their shoes.
Right. Right.
And that takes some quiet time sometimes, right? I have worksheets in my membership site. You can work this all through, but still in the end, it's not like, oh, I'm going to spend 5 minutes filling out this form that Nancy has or any other coach has, and then I'm going to know it. It still takes kind of like marinating over it, talking about it, looking to see who you like to work with, which clients in the past have been your best clients. You probably have this all the time.
Right, right. And actually, I came across an exercise last week that I did, and it was from a 0 to 5. Take your list of current clients and number them with 5 being the highest, where you feel like happy, where they're good clients, where that you feel like they are your target market. And then if you have some outliers, so I did the exercise, and I almost 96% of my clients were all the 4s and the 4.5s. So I was
Nice.
like thrilled, but there was 2 of them that were 2s. And so then it was like, okay, so now can I bring them up to a 4? Do I need to change the way I'm approaching it? Or are they just a bad fit for my company?
That's a great exercise. I should do some version of that for my membership site. I think that's a great exercise. And it's true, as if you use that 1 through 5 rating system, and go backwards to January if you don't have steady ongoing clients, because every business model is different. Like I have subscription-based clients, you have subscription-based clients. But for those of you who have, there's a start and an end to the relationship, you could go back in the past year and
Correct.
rate them with that 1 through 5. I love that idea. So anyone who ends up in that 4 and 5 category, you can then start analyzing their interests, their lifestyle, where they hang out, what social media platforms they actually look for when they're looking for an expert like you. What are their challenges and frustrations? I always try to look at what TV shows do they watch? What magazines would they be interested in?
Where are they shopping? What are they?
Yes.
What restaurants? So there's a lot of things. One thing that has really helped me is focusing on the clients that don't fit. Like I absolutely know that if I have to sell social media on you, I am not your social media person, because you come to me, I want you to know that social media is a marketing tool in your toolbox, that it will work depending on your goals, and your budget and your goals determine what we can provide for resources for you.
And your clarity on your own business model. And I think that's where you've said to me before, you can tell sometimes that people who have worked with me, by the time they get to you,
yes,
because they're much clearer.
And they know exactly what they want from their marketing. And this marketing is just an example that they know what they want. And so when when I talk to even my clients trying to figure out who are they trying to target on social media, it's like, well, who don't you want to work with? Everybody has and so I know that you're not typically a good fit for me if I have to sell you on how amazing social media can be as a marketing tool.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to do that exercise with my own clientele and see what I come up with.
I was really, really surprised. And it was just and it's interesting, the 2 clients that were the 2s, they were who I thought were my ideal client when I started my business. But
interesting. And I have to tell you, when you think about this, it applies to any business. If you have to if you're an interior designer and you have to convince them of your value, overly convince them of your value, then they're probably not your ideal client. As a business coach, I like people who come to me going, you know what, I'm ready, and I know I'm ready to put the work in, and I know the value of having a focused coach, right? So it's interesting. Yeah. It's the same with the social media, a web designer. A web designer doesn't want to have to convince someone they need a web designer. Their ideal client is someone who already knows they need a web designer and don't want to try to do it themselves. This is a subject I went over in one of my Monday morning client sessions, my group sessions. And I said, the minute you start to try to oversell yourself, you're in that red flag zone. Because if you're a good salesperson, you can convince someone to use you temporarily.
Right.
And then the relationship flips where they're like, wait, they convinced me to use them, but we're really not a good fit, and I don't really like this. So it's different from selling a product. When you're selling a service, you want to be a attentive and good salesperson to your ideal target market, but you don't want to have to convince them, because I'm telling you that starts the relationship in a really bad starting point, where eventually you're going to be like buyer's remorse.
Right. And then eventually you start to either resent them, or you meant that you see their email and you're going, oh. Or you start to not like the job. Like, I love what I do. I love serving my clients. But a couple situations where I have worked with clients in the past, they made me start to question who I was, what I did, and if I was providing value to my clients. And it's like, I am providing value. I provide great value. But I wasn't for them because they didn't believe in the service that I was providing. They wouldn't believe in anybody providing social media, because all they did was hate social media. Like, I hate Facebook, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well then don't use it. It's a tool. Don't use it. There's other tools. So
Exactly. You know what? It's really interesting, because as a coach, I get a lot of people who get on my calendar for a one-time consult. And I love the one-time consults. I can give them a ton of things. We set a plan. They walk away with a ton of activities to do to get their business to the next level. But for somebody who's really dedicated and moving faster, right?
Right.
It's like having a sounding board. Two brains are better than one, right? So same with whoever you are, whatever service you provide, think of yourself as I'm there to help them get to the next level. If they don't appreciate it and you start going into convincing mode, this is not your target market.
Right. And like I've worked with different coaches and I've worked with you, and I know 100% that if I come to work with you and I'm not ready, and you see that I'm not ready, it's going to be disaster for both of us.
Right.
But if I come to you and say, I am ready to invest in my business, I know what you've done for my business, that definitely people are ready. And so meeting people, so knowing your target market also is kind of knowing where they're at, your target person is in their journey of ability to, in that purchasing mode. Like, and same with interior designers. I'll spin my wheels trying to figure out paint color. And I had one designer who had a quiz on her website. So I took the quiz, and through taking the quiz and looking at her Pinterest board, I was able to pick out my paint color. And
that is you're someone's ideal client,
right?
They're have a paint quiz on on their website, and you did it, and you're their ideal client. So when you guys are putting out your freebies, think about who your target market is and what they would like to know.
Right.
And don't just put out content for the sake of putting out content. Although sometimes you'll do a freebie, it's not well received, and you may have to rethink that and really get yourself back in what I said in the beginning, the shoes of your ideal client. Right. What are they Googling? What are they searching for? What social media are they on? What magazines? What restaurants? What stores do they shop at? What is their life like? And then how can you sort of be part of that journey for them till they need you? Like that's the goal. I teach attraction marketing, not straight sales. There's a difference.
There is. An attraction where people are at in the journey. So like this designer that I did the quiz for, I am saving money so that I can do a full day design day with her so she can help me because she's built that trust. So right now I may not be ready to purchase from her, but she's targeting to me. Now I work with other designers that their target market is high end. I mean, the high end clients. I would never be, they're great, wonderful people, but I would never be their target market, and that's okay. And so really identifying where they're at, who your target market is, and where are they at in their journey to purchase you. So I work with a lot of small to moderate businesses. I wouldn't be a good fit to go into someone that had a marketing team of 20 people and a 500 company. Like it wouldn't know where your client is at in their business journey also, or your homeowner, where are they at? What stage are they at? Are they more of the DIYers, or are they kind of DIY, but yeah, I would love to help your expertise and maybe bring you into my journey type thing.
Exactly. And you know what, no matter who you're speaking to, also whether they're your ideal client or not, the importance of being clear on what you do, how you do it, and who you do it for is huge. Because like you just said, you're saving up for when you can use this woman. Maybe in 5 years from now, you will be hiring for luxury something, right? And you're going to be attracted to the people who were kind and considerate and didn't just brush you off in the past either, right? So there's that balance. Just remember, everyone, that connections are business. Connections, just keep making more connections, because even if they're not your current target market, they may know people who are. And as long as you're clear and concise in what you're communicating, the right people will be attracted to you.
Definitely.
But you know, it's still a journey. Everyone thinks like, oh, once I identify it and once I start talking to my ideal client, well, then the doors are just going to be blown off and I'll just be getting business right and left. And I'm always like, no, it takes 6 to 9 months to 12 months to really start turning it around. So it's patience.
Right. Business ownership is a blessing, but it also takes a lot of time. It's like kind of like birthing a baby. We don't have babies overnight. Wait, it takes 9 months to grow a baby, and it's kind of like the business. It takes a lot of time. And then we have all the growing pains of growing up. So
Exactly. Perfect ending point here. So,
yeah.
all right, if you guys are struggling with identifying your target market, reach out to me. Get a consult on the calendar. That is an exercise we can bang through very quickly. And if you don't know who your target market is, you're basically just, you've heard it before, throwing spaghetti up against the wall and trying to figure out who you're talking to and hoping you attract somebody. Well, I can talk to anyone. I can help anyone. Yes, maybe, but your messaging will fall flat because you're not speaking to one specific person and their pain point.
And I would 100% recommend knowing that before you invest even in hiring someone to do your social media marketing or even working with a social media strategist, because the clients that know who their target market is, their marketing is successful. Those that have no idea, we're throwing spaghetti in the wall all day long, and they're not going to use the tool that it's meant to be used for.
Right. So who makes you happy? When you work with who, are you happy and they're happy? That's always the right. And that exercise, if you guys are just coming on, go back and listen. Kim did an exercise over the weekend that will be helpful for everyone. And I loved it, to rank the people you've worked with so you can figure out getting closer to who your target market is. And I'm convinced you need to do that every 6 to 9 months because it changes. It changes. So, all right, everyone, go have a great Monday. And Kim and I will see you next week. If you need me, you know where to find me, nancyganzelkofer.com. And Kim, tell them where to find you.
Fresh Impact for Biz is on Facebook, or my website is just kimvanderpool.com.
Perfect. All right, everyone, have a great week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.